Or public school, exactly. So why do we even need an Islamic school?
Okay, that's a great question. I mean, if you ever examine the growth of a human being from childhood, what is the most important aspect of a child that becomes an adult? It's to give them good moral instructions, because at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. It's not your abilities in terms of what you can do with science or with speaking or with arts. It's the moral fabric of the individual. Are they honest? Are they caring? Are they sharing? Are they giving? Are they forgiving? Are they loving? These are the kinds of qualities we must raise our children, and to be, of course, God conscious. The problem we have with public schools is that in the last many decades, legislation has been passed where religion cannot be taught in school. It's a taboo to speak about God. And I see where they're coming from, but I also see a problem with that. So because in public schools, you can talk about the academics of a child, but you cannot talk about their moral conduct, then these children that are growing up in public schools have to be self-regulated or regulated by their parents or by some ancillary organization, right? Which becomes a very difficult task, because raising children in that kind of an environment is like one step forward, two steps backwards, one step forward, two steps backwards. It just doesn't work. So public schools, the beauty of them is that they are very well funded in general. They have fantastic programs and structures, because tax money that is being used tends to give a lot better services. So if a parent is looking for those kinds of services, then they'll typically be attracted to public schools. And in this part of the region, like in the Bay Area, public schools tend to be very good, right? So you're always having that competition that, why would I send my child to a parochial school when I can have it for free, number one. Number two, my child can get all the bells and whistles. But what they're forgetting is that they're not getting the moral construction. And if you ask any parent, what's the bottom line construction that you must give to your child? It's the moral construction. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm a product of public schools. Okay, I grew up in public schools. But when I went to public schools, our levels of modesty and so on was much higher than today. In today's world, it's getting worse, right, in terms of lack of modesty. So it's a dangerous environment, but if parents can really train their kids to be independent and swim in that so-called environment, then more power to them. But that doesn't preclude the fact that we as a society should create institutions and structures that protect the future of our children at the moral level, which is where the Islamic school becomes extremely essential.
Okay, so fair enough, but what does it mean to have an Islamic school? Are we just like teaching the Quran in addition to science?
No, this idea of secularism, the whole idea of separation of religion from state, or the secular sciences from religion, this notion that you go into an Islamic class and you're going to learn the Quran is a misstatement. It's a misconception of the truth. The reality is that divine consciousness is holistic and it's ubiquitous and it's what we call ethereal. It's everywhere. So when you send a child to a good Islamic school, you don't preach religion to them. You just feel it all around you. So even a non-Muslim should enjoy that environment. It should not be where it's very conducive to Muslims, but a non-Muslim will not enjoy it. I think it should be conducive to all human beings. So you're not proselytizing, you're not taking a child and converting them, or you're not indoctrinating a child to become this, ideologue or this zealot, of a Muslim. I don't think that's a good Islamic school.
I see.
A good Islamic school nurtures the child in a safe environment that's modest, that's honest, and it has good moral prescription, but that's amicable to all kinds of people. Those are the common laws of the Quran, for example. If you look at Catholic schools in general, they do follow those protocols too. So that's why Catholic schools tend to be also relatively safe environments because of that fact. But there's a big difference in what we teach in Islam versus Catholicism. You see? So it's our responsibility as Muslims to impart the Islamic education for our children. So having said that, putting a child in an Islamic school means that they have to be top-notch academically. They have to compete with the finest students around the country, if not the world. So academically, there is no room for negotiation. Okay? So one cannot say, I'm going to an Islamic school, therefore my academics are not important. I'm going to be a hafiz of Quran. I'm going to memorize the Quran. That's really my goal. No. What we're going to do is we're going to teach them to become very smart in all the secular quote-unquote sciences, although I don't believe in secular anything, because I think everything is towards God anyway. But having said that, if we take our children and we raise them where they are God conscious and they are aware of the Quran and they know the basic laws of Islam, that's not possible unless you give them an Islamic environment, hence an Islamic school.